So I want to share with you today this really cool project that the middle school has been working on. We're on our second year of a grant given out by Washington STEM. They call it their STEM Professional Development Grant. And I'm going to put a link here to this website if you want some information on their key findings and the reasons why they did this. But in a nutshell, they noticed, Washington STEM, that our state spends $300 million each year to prepare teachers, and they were wondering, are teachers getting what they needed? So they polled teachers. They found that 98% of teachers polled said it's important to observe models of instruction, but only 64% were getting to do that. 89% of teachers said it's important to practice and self-reflect, but only 49% reported that they got to do that. 92% of teachers said it's important to practice and get peer coaching, but only 32% got to do that. And while 86% of teachers said it was important to receive real-time feedback, only 22 said they ever got that. So they found at the time that teachers weren't getting what they needed out of professional development. So they did some more research and found out, well, here's what's working and how it's working. If you get presentation of information in theory, the sit and get PD we're actually kind of used to getting, only 5% of teachers achieved personal mastery, and only 5% transferred those skills back into their classroom. Now, if you added modeling and demonstration of instructional practices, more teachers achieved mastery. But still only 5% were transferring it to their classroom. Now add to that practice and feedback. Well, you got way more teachers, 80 to 90% achieving personal mastery. But look, still only about 5 to 10% actually transferring it to their classroom. What Washington STEM found made the difference, a huge difference, was this coaching and mentoring. 90% of teachers achieved mastery when they had all of these practices in their professional development, but look at this. Almost all those teachers actually transferred the skill back into their classroom because they were getting to practice it in their classroom while receiving coaching and mentoring, which included that live feedback. So 2 years ago, when we approached Washington STEM to get the grant to participate in this project, we found that we had a model that some of us had been using that we wanted to try out. Now, since this grant started, I've noticed some improvements around our state on some of the organizations that are providing professional development. I gotta say, if you get the right professional development, you will get some really great training. But here's what we're focusing on with this Washington STEM PD grant, is the expertise and the talent in our own building, right next door, each other. So this grant focuses on our PLC work. We do 2 cycles a year, one cycle being departmental PLCs, and then the second cycle being grade level. And we start with this model here, the professional teaching and learning cycle, which many of us in this district have used before with the North Cascade and Olympic Science Partnership, and as part of the Olympic Math and Science Partnership. It's really great. If you've never done it, I'm going to provide a link to some resources for you to learn more about this. So you start with your PLC team by studying the standards and student learning expectations. You could look at test scores, you could look at common assessments that you give, and using what you find based on your students' learning, you're going to select some instructional strategies and resources that will help your students fill a gap or improve in something they're deficient in. The PLC team plans lessons that will target that need and get some common assessments. Then you implement it. Maybe one teacher teaches the lesson, maybe multiple teachers. Here's where the technology from Washington STEM comes into place that I'm going to show you in a moment. You come back together and you look at student work, you look at video of the recorded lesson, and you analyze that student work to make adjustments so that the next time that lesson is delivered, it can be more effective. This cycle is really great, and it really helps focus your PLC work. When we're looking at student work, I've been using this protocol for years. It's a very simple protocol, doesn't take a lot of time, but it's very effective. It's called Looking at Student Work, and it's got a process right here where you're going to put the work you have into 3 piles. High, these kids really got it. Medium, these kids are just getting it. And low, these kids are missing the target. What's really valuable is that as teachers then you talk to each other and discuss who you sorted into those 3 piles. Great discussions about the student learning comes from that work. This is one that I highly recommend for any type of common assessments that you're looking at. But the really cool thing about this Washington STEM project is this little swivel robot. Here's how it works. I'm going to show you a video that I recorded. Right here is the swivel, and I can talk more about this one back there because that one is revolutionary. It is awesome. So what you see now is I've got this iPad there facing me. Right now it's recording me. Anywhere in the room I go, I'm wearing a microphone that the swivel base will follow. So I can put the microphone at a student table and it will record them having their conversations and doing their work. The camera, which is on the iPad, will focus on them. So here's me teaching the lesson, and I recorded it with the swivel there, right? Now we each have, through Washington STEM, they got us free accounts with this service called Iris Connect. I log into my account, I go to Reflections, and what I have in Reflections are all the lessons I have recorded. Now, I can record lessons just for me to see. I can reflect on my own teaching. I don't have to share this with anybody. But the power of doing this for PLC work comes in that I can then share this with my team. I can go to Share over here, and I can click on the names of my team members and add them, and then they will get to see this video. The awesome thing is too, let's say I recorded it for too long, I can go into the video. Now here's what the iPad on the swivel base was actually recording from the video I just showed you. But let's say this is the point where I want my team members to see. I can leave a comment here, and then when I add that comment, anyone who clicks play here, it will start at this very section. Kids have great imaginations, and some of your ideas might be the solution. So you can put multiple comments in there, and your teammates can reply to those comments. Then when you meet to look at student work, you can either have already watched the video, so everybody knows what the lesson was. You know, think back to lesson study. This is lesson study without everyone having to be in the room. And you don't have to have a camera person monitoring the camera. But you can also watch the video during your PLC meeting. Then when you look at the student work, everybody has a frame of reference of what was taught, how the lesson was framed, and where the students got their ideas to do that work. Then you analyze and adjust it, and it's been really wonderful. It's made our PLC work much more efficient. Plus for self-reflection, you know, we can just record anything we're teaching just to get another look at what we're doing. And I really love being able to leave the microphone on a table of students and then later on watch back and see how they were doing while I was working with another group. This is a great technology to help us do our work and really tap into that expertise within our buildings. Now if you're curious about the other one, that blue one in the background there, that one's called the Live View, and what that one does is it allows a coach, say I'm using it with Jeff Ryan, the science lead at our ESD, so he can virtually enter my classroom and observe without having to leave his office. That Live View camera right there allows him to point the camera anywhere, zoom into any group or group of students, and I've got an in-ear piece where I can hear his live coaching, mentoring feedback. We've got two microphones. One that I could leave at any table he wants to eavesdrop in. And of course, the students know this is happening. I tell them beforehand. And I've got a microphone with my in-ear piece, so while I'm conducting the lesson, teaching, helping groups, he can chime in at any time and tell me, hey, this group needs a little support, or, ooh, have you thought of this as a follow-up question? We've done it a couple of times successfully after working out some of the kinks, because there are some things that can go wrong that I found out the hard way. But it's been really amazing, and hopefully in year 3 of our grant, hopefully we'll get a year 3, more of us will try out the live view and go to that next level where we can really implement some great best practices that we've always been wanting to, but just haven't had the proper training. And that's what I wanted to share today. Thank you.